Pastor Mark Burns joining us now. Pastor, thank you so much for coming on tonight.
Happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Now, this is a very specific list. Each jet, as you well know, costs around $100 million. Do you think President Trump will go for this?
Well, this is what I stated when I was there on the ground in Ukraine. When you're witnessing firsthand of the atrocities that are happening, not to military strategic points, but to civilians, grandmothers, daughters, children. When you see the devastation that happened in Bucha, the city of Bucha, and I was just there on their 3rd year anniversary, realizing that civilians were killed from the ages of 1 to 100. When you realize that 700 churches and mosques and temples, synagogues have been destroyed, specifically when you realize that over 20,000 children have been kidnapped and are now missing and have been deported back to Russia, you throw out the politics. You throw out Democrats or Republicans. You throw out whether you're pro-Zelensky or you're pro-Trump. For me, this is about human beings needing the help. And as I'm talking to these soldiers on the ground and the civilians, they're not begging Americans for money. They don't want no money. They want ammunition to defend their homes, and that's what. So when I specifically said that list, that was coming from soldiers who was on the ground. They made it very clear. We don't want American money. People are saying, don't send money to Ukraine. And I was a major proponent of it.
Yeah.
I am MAGA. I'm President Trump #1 guy from day zero. I am 100% still behind the America First agenda. But when you're hearing people say, don't send no more money back to Ukraine, my heart pours out.
Pastor,
and I say to them, if you were on the ground there, you would not be saying that.
Have you spoken to the president? Have you had the opportunity yet to talk about this very issue?
I haven't spoken to the president yet. I do plan to speak to the president about this situation, and then whoever will willing to listen about what's happening on the ground. Again, I'm not a lobbyist. I wasn't paid by nobody to go to Ukraine. I was invited by the chief rabbi, Guzman of Ukraine, and my heart just goes out. Yakov Flichkin, another good friend who invited me to go, and I was just horrified to see the evil that is taking place. I'm not here to debate the legalities of whether Russia had a right to do any of this. I'm not here to do any of that. I'm only here saying there are innocent people that are dying. They are begging for America to help. I met with so many leaders that on the ground there. They're thanking President Trump. They're thanking America, and they're hoping to see this peaceful resolve come to a quick end soon as possible.
And we're showing a lot of pictures and video. I understand this is actually from your cameras, so thank you for that. I read your social media post to our viewers a moment ago. You said there's a lot of fake news about Ukraine. What specifically?
Well, I mean, again, I want to be very clear. I had to recant some of the things that I have personally been saying about Ukraine for the last 3 years. Again, when you say, no money to Ukraine, no help in Ukraine, Ukraine is corrupt. Now, again, I'm not here to argue whether the government is corrupt or not. I'm not here to fight for Zelensky. To be honest with you, I think President Zelensky warmed up too much to Joe Biden and the Democrats, and that's why he's having a hard time getting along with the Trump administration. That's my personal opinion. And that's people on the ground in Ukraine says the same thing. But I know that the fake news is against President Trump. They make people believe that he's thrown Ukraine away, that he has sold Ukraine out to Russia. That's not the case at all. The president is pissed off at Putin, and he's made it very clear. If Putin doesn't come back to the table, that he is going to offer secondary tariffs against Russian oil. The president is very strong in his position, and Russia needs to come to the table as soon as possible because, again, people are dying. 20,000 children are missing. Bring back the children right now that are in Russia.
Pastor,
we got to talk about this.
What was your reaction when President Trump initially halted all the military aid going into Ukraine?
Well, again, at that time, that was before me going to Ukraine. I was, again, a staunch supporter. And let me be very clear. I'm still a supporter of President Trump. That's not going away. God has called me and anointed me to be a voice in his ear, and I'm going to continue to do that when asked. But in regards to Ukraine, it took me being there. And my prayer is that more Americans, more conservatives will go to Ukraine and will see the devastation that is happening. Remember, Russia attacked Ukraine. Let's be clear about that. Ukraine did not attack Russia. It is the innocent people. When you see the white bandanas and they were told that at the beginning of the invasion, tie white bandanas on your arms so you can be identified as a civilian. But yet these Russian soldiers took the same bandanas off the arms and they tied their hands behind their backs and they shot people in the back of the head. Old
Pastor,
people,
yeah.
children, that's what we're seeing on the ground in Ukraine.
Yeah.
And right now, I can tell you most Ukrainians will rather not have ammo. They want peace, and they want peace quickly, and they know that President Trump is the only one that can do it.
Thanks so much for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.